Hello, how you doing? My name is Gagnon, and this is my project for capitalizing on local advertisements for micro businesses. The overview for advertising on social media is free at a little cost for businesses. There are certain advertisements that are a little bit cheaper and can appeal to certain demographics, such as just say a retirement, the 55 and up community. The greatest thing about social media is the traffic. There's so many free ways to get your name spread across, and as you become bigger on these different social medias, you'll start popping up on different search engines, and this will create more traffic as well as hopefully expanding the new audience that you attract into your business. On average, people spend about 37 minutes on social media a day. Especially on Facebook, Google+, Twitter. And as you sit there and spend so much time on these social media, 37 minutes doesn't sound like a lot, but in a whole week, it's about 4.5 hours. And especially once you start, just say, your local business in Tarpon Springs, and there's roughly 50,000 people in your community, especially when you start counting tourists and local towns. That's 4.5 hours where you can throw your advertisement in someone's face, and the more they see it, odds are they'll probably sit there, click it, see what you have to offer, and then hopefully they'll come inside and check you out. And as long as you have a high quality product, they should come back more and more. Introduction. Many local businesses do not use a proper form of advertisement, which in the long run can waste assets. Some local businesses do not advertise at all. So they are not even trying to create the opportunity to get more people inside their business on their own. They're kind of hoping that the local, their clientele now will bring a friend, and their friend will bring a friend, and this will create their clientele. The opportunity of social media, it's so important for small business owners, especially when you start looking at LinkedIn or Facebook. This is a graph from 2013, but this is the most recent I could find. So Facebook and LinkedIn, there was 57 and 50% of micro businesses that were using these, and they were successful in this. They would get a couple customers here and there, and 27% of small businesses did not use them at all. This can affect a business in a negative way. Especially if you are, just say, looking for a younger clientele. If you're in a college town, you're not going to advertise in a local Sunday paper because odds are most college kids do not buy the Sunday paper. So the current situation is businesses are doing little to no research on how to appeal to their customers and their demographic. Just as I said, college town, not going to advertise in the Sunday paper. Makes no sense. You have to match it up. College town, social media, they will see it, and hopefully that will create foot traffic and they'll come in. Businesses who do advertise to the effective demographic, they do see an influx in customers. Some micro businesses use the excuse of money is the reason they do not advertise. This is the biggest lie they can tell themselves. Social media is free. All you have to do is set an account, and you spend 10 minutes a day on the social media. You spend about an hour and 10 minutes a week, depending on what your operating hours are. And this simple way of just getting your name out there can help you create new clientele and get new people inside. Key success factors: using free advertisements will reduce the overhead cost. So if you go advertise in, just say, the Coffee News or the Lighthouse Coupon Book, they do charge you a bit just because of the ink costs, and they do drop it off to all local businesses who accept the coupon book. Do not be afraid to experiment and make new products while maintaining high quality of existing products. All this means is do not fall into the route of routine. Don't be afraid to take new steps into creating, just if you're, from a restaurant point of view, new appetizers, new food styles. There's so many different ways to keep your business new and exciting. This can even apply to getting new customers inside the door. And finally, the key success factors: you can find customers and keep the high value customers. So as people come and go, and as long as you have a high quality product, these will get your repeats, your regular customers, to come back into the door. So analyzing for alternatives, as I said earlier, you're not going to advertise in the Sunday paper to attract a college crowd. Now, college crowd will be on social media, but the older demographic of, just say, the 55 and up community, they might not be too familiar with social media. So there's alternative ways to advertise. These are cheap advertising ways, but it's the alternative to reach the other demographic. This would be the coffee news. It's just a local piece of paper with businesses, promotions, and all that. The Lighthouse Coupon Book is exactly what it sounds like. It's a coupon book, and it advertises any small business that wants to be part of it. You can show your promotions. You can try to entice people into coming in, and it's the best way to advertise it's the best way to attract new customers. Social media, for the strategic options, you're not going to waste your time in, say, Instagram or Foursquare, where there's only 2% of small businesses who are using those and getting a successful outcome from them. You'd rather spend more time on LinkedIn, Facebook, even Twitter. So pros and cons. There's so many pros and cons when it comes to advertising. Create relationships. You want that clientele to come back. Showcase your establishment. Show them the food you make. Show them, how you're trying to make your business better. This will help you drive new sales and developing the local clientele. Have them come back. Especially as you grow bigger on social media, this will increase your digital exposure. You want to become higher up on the Google search engines, the Yahoo, the Bing, and this will hopefully boost the traffic and expand a new audience, get that new clientele. And the best part of all of this is it's affordable. If it's not free, then it's actually relatively cheap. If you focus on social medias like the Facebook, the LinkedIn, the Twitter, it's all free. The only thing you really spend is the time that you're on these to advertise. Cons are: advertising can become expensive for businesses if advertising to the wrong demographic. So if you're spending all this money to advertise in the Sunday paper for a college town, odds are you're not going to necessarily get the most popular way to reach this demographic. If you're advertising to an older demographic, like a 55 and up community, then advertising in the Sunday newspaper or the local newspaper is the better way than going for social media, where they might not understand exactly how to work it or how to necessarily access your page. Final recommendation: use as much free advertising as you can. This will benefit your company, and as long as you do it the right way, this will appeal to the right demographic. Reach out to the community. Don't be afraid to try different events. For instance, First Friday, it's a merchant, pretty much it's a giant gathering of local businesses down Tarpon Avenue, and this is the first Friday of every month, and it's actually relatively cheap. For a 10 by 10 tent, it's only $20. If you need electric, then it's $35, or an additional $35. So $55 for 6 to 10 p.m., which is a good way to get your name out there. Do not be afraid to try new ways of advertising. As long as it's not a high-risk situation, try it. What's the worst that's going to happen? It's not going to work. And then finally, sometimes spending money is the best way to make money. So once you become established enough where you can spend money and just get your name out there, then it should help you in return. Here's my works cited page, and I'll let it run for another couple seconds.